Everybody, welcome to Workshop 6. We are finishing up Accounting 202, looking at Chapter 23 and Chapter 24. Congratulations on making it this far. We are almost done, so hang in there for one more week, and you will be through Accounting 202. In Chapter 23, we are looking at various managerial decisions that we're going to make using our cost information. There's 6 different types of decisions. Make sure you have the study guide in front of you as we go through the video. We'll get to those 6 different types here in a minute. But the key thing that you want to make sure you understand as you evaluate these decisions is you're looking at only the relevant costs that are going to differ between these 2 or more alternatives. So relevant costs typically include the out-of-pocket costs, that is cash coming in or cash going out, that differ between the 2 different alternatives, and the opportunity cost. So the next best alternative to the option that we're currently pursuing. So the opportunity cost of you pursuing this class at Indiana Wesleyan is not just the tuition that you paid or the time that you're spending, but what could you be doing with that money or your time if you did not take this class. Hopefully that opportunity cost is going to pale in comparison to the benefit that you get from these great videos and the degree going forward. That's the idea, right? So just keep those in mind. Those are the costs that we're considering. The cost that we're not considering is the sunk cost. So an example of that is if you're running a business and you hired a manager, you brought this person on and you gave them a $5,000 signing bonus. So 2 months later, the manager, you're looking at their performance and it's just a total disaster. They don't know what they're doing. They can't speak English. They can't type. Why did you hire this person? Well, you already paid him $5,000. A poor manager would say, well, we already paid him this money. We're going to continue on. We've already invested this much in him. So we're not going to fire them at this time or reassign them to another position. That's a poor decision because that's a sunk cost. Can't do anything about that $5,000 that is already sunk into that decision. We got to make a new decision here whether we're going to continue to retain this person or dismiss this person based on how our performance looks going forward. That is an irrelevant sunk cost. We're only going to look at the future cost of our different options. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's look at our 6 different types of decisions that we're going to make, at least as far as Chapter 23 goes. The first one is additional business. So say we own one store in a city, and we've been operating that store for quite a while. It's a profitable store. We're deciding, should we open a second store on the other side of town to generate new business? Well, so we can look at the projections for store 2 with their revenue and expenses. They might show that they're probably going to make money, but we also have to look at all the relevant costs for the entire business as a whole. So how might that affect store 1? Will that steal customers from store 1, resulting in lower revenue and lower net income for that particular store as well? So we have to include all of our decisions for the company as a whole when we evaluate that decision. The second one is a make or buy decision. So if we're Ford Motor Company, we can either manufacture our own tires, or we can outsource that service and buy the tires from somebody like BF Goodrich or Michelin. We would do that based on 1, the quality of the tire, and 2, the cost differential between how much it costs to actually produce it ourselves or outsource it to another company. We're looking at an example of that here just a minute at the bottom of our study guide page. Scrap or rework. Should we sell our inferior units? Something's wrong with them. Should we sell that for scrap? Or should we put it back through the assembly line, try to rework it and sell it for a greater price? So we would make that decision depending on how much it costs to rework it compared to what we actually receive when we actually sell those compared to what we get for scrap. All those decisions would come into place. Sell or process further. The example that I've given you here real quick on the study guide, we can drill for crude oil. Okay, so we have crude oil that we pull up from the ground. We can sell that for $10 a gallon, or we can continue to refine that to a refining plant and sell that as gasoline, which would be a more expensive per gallon rate. Well, we would look at the differential between the 10 and whatever we're going to be able to sell it for, compare that to our cost to actually refine it to determine whether or not we should sell now or continue to process. The 5th one is the sales mix. So if we have like 10 different products that we sell in our store, how should we promote our products in order to maximize our overall profit? How should we stock those on our shelves in order to maximize our profit? You know, if we go and we put product A out there too much and that's not a very high dollar item, and we put too much out there, you know, we might have to skimp on product B and sell lower amounts of product B and have lower profit from those. Also, we would want to look at how we advertise our products too, which ones we're actually promoting, which is going to produce the largest target net income under our sales mix. So 6.1 is segment elimination, opposite of number 1. Should we eliminate a store? Well, what are the decisions of what's going to eliminate from the store? Well, we're not just going to look at the income statement for the particular store. There's also fixed expenses that are allocated to that store that are going to have to be picked up by other stores. So we need to consider that in our decision as well. So on pages 953 through 959, there's examples of each one of these different types. We'll look at a couple of them here in just a minute. These are the main examples of decisions that we're going to use managerial accounting for. So you want to be familiar with each one of these, looking at the differential cost and revenues under each one of these options to make the optimum decision. There's a little blurb, real short blurb at the end of the chapter looking at qualitative information that you want to consider, talking about the image and the quality of the product, not just the actual net income that you're actually producing under these different options. So you want to keep that in mind as well. We're not always just looking for the most greedy option. Sometimes we'll choose something that does not optimize net income. We might choose a second option because, for example, we could outsource things to China where they have children in sweatshops working 18 hours a day and produce. We could have product coming in that's cheaper, but or we could build them in the U.S. It costs us more money, but it's more ethical considerations. Those are the examples of qualitative decisions that also go into play in addition to what maximizes the net income. So you got to keep that in mind as well.